SG Reads.
Hello fellow travelers, my name is SG and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be going over another analog horror called War from Beyond by Hypernova, a Transformers analog series. I really did enjoy this one. This one's actually recommended to me by a couple of you guys out there, a couple of you subscribers that really wanted me to check out the series and to give my opinions on it, and even throw out a theory here or there to see how the story progresses. And with what we got, I can say quite a bit, so please leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. And let's get started, shall we? Video 1 is our first video where we are introduced to Mary Whitaker. This is her first and only appearance in the series so far, but we can tell that this is a significant one. Here we learn that there is a power outage going around town. She complains to an electrician that the power has been surging oddly and going to the garage, making the lights flicker on and off. While there is no answers, in the next episode, which is Incident Interim PSA, involves certain areas in America that have suddenly had a fluctuation in energy. Certain blackouts are starting to happen, and energy itself seems to be going to a certain area. We then go to Incident 2, Encounter, where we do talk to a scientist who is talking about a current meteor shower. There, he is convinced that there might be alien life suddenly hitting the ground. We're not sure from that point of view, but we do know that two hunters that are in the woods find a creature outside, and it looks like a towering monster, if you will. Now, there is a lot of evidence to support that maybe this is Megatron or even just a Decepticon, period. They do make a growling noise and act more monstrous than the regular people. War from Beyond, Incident 3, School Project, goes to another school, a kid at school, who for a school project, obviously, is recording something in the woods. He finds something odd out there, and a creature that he does not recognize. When he takes it home to his school, they ask him what kind of editing and machinery did they use to recreate that. He said it wasn't editing, it was something else. While no one else would believe him, the government did, and collected this videotape so far, adding him to this list of witnesses to these creatures. Again, with that loud roar-like voice, and these weird kind of metallic looks. Incident 4, Retaliation, we do get this idea that there has been a war amongst these creatures. We do know that they have been fighting one another. One has even landed to the ground and has been captured by the government. They have now his body, and his arm seems to have been completely destroyed, along with his leg. So now they are beginning to test on these objects to see if it's capable or being used for military use against them. Incident 5 of Archive 1 seems to be just a reiteration of what we already know about the evidence given and suggested, and a look at what these creatures could or might be appearing to look like, and giving ideas that they may be able to shapeshift into different forms, such as cars. We don't know that for a fact, but something seems to be telling us through the analog horrors themselves. Now then we go to, because they are currently in the middle of Archive 2, or Season 2, depending on your point of view, we'll go to that one. And that one, the first episode, Incident 6, Engineered, showing that they managed to pull off a cannon from this creature that they have managed to get the body of, and are able to, I guess you could say, reverse engineer it and build it to their own tanks. Again, suggesting maybe this is a Decepticon more than anything else. Not saying it's Megatron or anything like that, but definitely has that supporting about it. We then go to Incident Omega, insisting that these creatures are starting to become more active to our people, to the human race, and that the government, in an attempt not just to make weapons, which seems to be going fine, but not to the extent that they need it to be, have been re-engineering the Autobots themselves into these kind of mech suits, something you'd see in a Gundam situation, turning them into weapons of destruction themselves. How this will play out later on in the future, we'll have to see. But for right now, that's what we got for the most part. Now, it is very interesting. This is just my brief rundown of what's happening. I may or may not have missed something along the way. So please, if I did, leave it down in the comment section. And if you haven't seen the series, don't follow my rushed review of this. Go support the original creator. I'll leave a link in the description down below. And of course, I might be in the comment sections as well. I do insist that all of you go check out the original source and help support the creator and making these analog horrors. Now, as per usual, I would be admitting that there is a narrator in this. There is, but not what we think. In this one, I think there is a darker twist to it, because there are several times where I am wondering who is recording this. That being the very first Incident Mary. And that is just because we know that it's happening does not specify why it's happening. We are able to see it, but there has to be a bigger reason for it. So somebody is recording this, and I do think it's the military for the most part collecting evidence and supporting this Autobot invasion for their own superiors. But the ones I think that we are seeing collecting this data for a fact has to be the Autobots. They are collecting this information and reviewing it themselves. That's who eyes we are seeing this through. Why else would we see Mary Whitaker being interviewed, period? Other than her written down testimony about what happened, there is no camera or physical way we would be able to know what's happening here. Unless the car itself was the Autobot keeping an eye on everything around the area, suggesting that maybe it is in disguise in itself, watching the power be collected and seeing where it's ultimately going. So if I had to say, the narrator are multiple people, mainly the government itself, but the one collecting these data are the Autobots or Decepticons or even just Cybertronians, period, gathering this information, knowing what the government knows, being hidden, and seeing what their next step is going to be overall. Now, there are many questions in the War from Beyond I've seen in the comment section, and I've asked myself, like, why are the Autobots or Decepticons or Cybertronians, we'll just call them that for now, because we don't know who's here and who's not. So the answer is, why they look like this, why are they acting like this? And the answer is very simple. The reason they sound like roars or technological babble is because they're speaking their own language. Remember, even in the movies and in the books, they do suggest that English is not their first. It's not even human language, period, is not really their language at all. The way they communicate is through this kind of ones and zeros style talking, or at least their own language. So the way they are talking can, to us, be heard as just rambling or roaring in a certain way. So it's not that they're acting monstrous, it's just that we don't understand them, just like they don't understand us at this point. Or maybe they understand us and just not trying. As for why they seem to be hiding in dark, desolate areas, that's always been the case, even in the movies. We do see that happening very often, where they are hiding in plain sight. There being cars, they are hiding in the woods, their ships are somewhere out there, hidden somewhere. So it makes sense that they are acting kind of like they are invaders, or they're hiding from the people. They are just biding their time studying human technology and humans, what they're capable of. That's what I think I'm getting from all this, why they're acting and sounding like this. It's all to keep as a protective mechanism against the unknown in a certain way. To keep contact with one another, but at the same time stay hidden from all people. And from the sketches and artwork that we've seen throughout the show videos, I think it's safe to say that we may be seeing Decepticons more than actual Autobots. As we've seen, the creature that has been captured does have these pointed, sharp, like bits on its head, or like almost like a crown thing, which does point more towards a Decepticon because they do have those sharper edges. Hearing about special forces or the military period, suggesting that a group of Marines started this special force against the Transformers, Autobots, or Cybertronians, period, and they have been able to replicate or even just deconstruct these machines, and even able to reconstruct them. Now, that in itself does not seem important, because we don't remember every military incident in the movies and the show, because there are a lot. But we're given so much focus on them, they feel like they may become characters later on. So, this may be a stretch, but it does relate to a later Transformer movie that will be coming out, and even a comic series that has been out for a while now, and that is Transformers G.I. Joe series. This does feel very reminiscent of a G.I. Joe kind of bit, where they do take technology, reorganize it, restructure it, and try to use it for the good of America in a way. It's even the weapon they even built is called the Liberator. So there is a lot of leeway to suggest that the people we're following in this are the original G.I. Joe team, and later on they may go on to be the full-on G.I. Joe force overall. So that's something that I would just like to throw out there as a theory of what may be happening in our world for the most part when fighting against these Autobots and Decepticons later on. Something I had to note was because we do see the meteor shower and we do know that certain creatures are falling to the earth. Now, I have made many references to the Decepticons. So if we are correct and they are correct in assuming that there is a war above us, happening above us, then what's happening isn't that they are landing on Earth, is that they are just fighting in space and the losers are being sent to Earth, or just falling to Earth period. And if that's the case, we know that the Autobots themselves might be winning this fight. As I said before, it feels like most of the characters represent Decepticons. Even the canon they kind of stole is from Megatron himself, when he goes into his tank form in the first Gen 1 series. So, with that being said, in this universe, the Autobots may not be going to Earth. Much rather, it could be that they have just beaten the Decepticons in Earth's orbit, and the Decepticons are just falling to the Earth as it's happening. They have reclaimed Cybertron for the most part, leaving the losers, aka the Decepticons, to recuperate on Earth. And they are coming back monstrous. They're coming out in pieces. They are trying to restore their pride and glory using the technology of Earth, siphoning the energy from it, creating these Frankensteinish-like monsters that they are now. And the government kind of sees that and is turning them into these, pretty much helping them at this point, turn into stronger beings. So if the Autobots do show up, it's going to be after the fact that the Decepticons have already been here and have started conquering as they know it. But that's just for the most part, I would have to say. That is again suggesting if these are just Decepticons and we haven't seen Autobots along the way. So overall, this is a really good series. I do really enjoy it. I enjoy it so much I want to do a video on it right away. So I will say that this does have a lot of promise. This does have a lot of creativity taken to it, and I haven't seen a Transformers analog series done as well as this, with as much detail and as much of trying to keep the original series while at the same time incorporating several movie aspects into this and adding their own flair to it, adding an own horror movie vibe to it, allowing them to kind of stretch their legs with storytelling for characters that are pre-existing in a certain way. Now, Transformers is a hard storyline to do because it's been done so many times, but I do think that these are very well crafted, I would have to say, and very unique to the series in itself, because we haven't seen it from the perspective of someone just on the outside. I will say that there are certain things that need to be fixed here and there, but they're not that big a deal. There are a lot that I do like here, and we will see more in the future. I do feel that they just keep getting better and better as they go, and I can't wait to see how the story concludes overall, or if we get past Archive 2, I want to see how this archive does end. And if by the time they are done with Archive 2, I will do another follow-up video to see how it goes from there. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe down below if you enjoy my content. Like I said before, please support the original creator. I'll leave a link down below in the description and in the comment section. That way you can go check out the videos yourself. I do fully recommend, please support the original creator. Thanks again for watching. I hope you do enjoy, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. See you later.